and this is probably gonna be my favorite part of the video because I love watching like documentaries of like people talking about their music and like the stories behind it. Like I'm a big fan of like VH1's Behind the Music and VH1's Storytellers and MTV's Unplugged. So like, so this is probably gonna be like really fucking rad to me. So anyway, this is the tracks. So the prologue and the epilogue tracks of my album, like the first song and the last song, well, the first track and the last track is fucking amazing to me. I really wanted it to be very like I said, like I grew up doing musical theater, so like this is probably, you know, my favorite ones because I'm like, oh shit, like, you know, it reminds me of when I used to do this in high school, like, you know, a prologue. So I really wanted it to be like, just like out of nowhere you hear like a voice just read the prologue of Romeo and Juliet, and I was like, oh cool, like, you know, I can do this and it'll be rad. But I did a shot in the dark, and I asked, I'm fucking googling because it's fucking cool to me. I asked my high school drama teacher from my junior and senior year, Jack Fris, fucking shout out to him. I just like messaged him on Facebook and I was like, hey Fris, hope you're doing well. Can you be on my album? And he was like, for sure, cha-cha. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. And I was so happy because I told him, he was like, oh, so do you want to sing? Like, you know, I don't sing the same way, because he was also in an all teachers band. Like him, like the guitar teacher and my English teacher were all in a band. And he was like, oh, like, you know, if you want to sing, like, you know, like I don't really sing the same way anymore. And I was like, no, I just really want you to do like a spoken word. Like, you know, just read the prologue and Count Paris's last lines in Romeo and Juliet. And he's like, oh, that's simple. Are you sure? Like, you know, do you want me to do something else? And I was like, that you're like, you just reading it and giving me the time of day is more than enough. That was pretty freaking rad. And I feel so cool because when I put out the album and I was promoting it on Instagram and like, you know, on all my social media platforms, a bunch of my old classmates were like, dude, you got Fris on your thing? Like, I'm too scared to even ask him. And I'm like, I'm the first one, fucking fight me. And I really wanted it to be him because he was the one that basically trained me in Shakespeare. Like, if you go like into my catalog of videos here on YouTube, you see that I did Richard III at the Greek Theater.
And here comes Carlos Rojas, you may know him as Charlie.
For never was a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo.
So it kind of went like, it all comes full circle. Like, the man that trained me to do Shakespeare is now on my album, which is Shakespeare inspired. So I think that's pretty fucking fire, if you ask me. I chose kind of going in the vein of the prologue, kind of basically telling you the story of Romeo and Juliet. Like, if you read the prologue saying like, oh, two households both lacking dignity and fair Verona, blah blah. So I really wanted it to also have my own version of the prologue and have it be the chain. Fleetwood Mac opens up all of their concerts with the chain. So I really wanted it to kind of have that be the opener, but also be the overall theme. That's basically their theme song. So I really wanted to open up with that because it's also kind of like telling the story. Like, you know, we're going through a really hard time, but we're gonna have to keep it together. Like, we're gonna have to like stick together and tough it out, type of thing. And I really wanted it to be like that. And it's kind of ironic that it's kind of like one of the first songs, because when we started doing this, it was one of the first songs that me and Dimitri tackled in the studio, and it was such a blast doing it because we really we wanted it to be like, and that's something I made it clear like from the start, that I was like, I really want to do Fleetwood Mac justice. I really like if it was for me, I would have done the original beats. I would have done the original music, but people nowadays don't listen to classic rock like I do.
No, I think the other ones that need stacking is like probably like the chorus. Damn, Dimitri, take me to church, okay. And if you don't love me now, you will I can still hear you saying you would never break the chain.
Big Love was one of the first few singles that I put out, and everybody loved it. I'm so happy. Big Love, like I said, was one of the first songs that we did, and it was one of the first songs that I picked because in the original Romeo and Juliet story, you find Romeo, like the first scene that you see him is that he's moping around, like, you know, he's trying to get over one of his loves, Rosaline, and that's where you find me. But in my story, it's Leo. And I chose this song because in one of the documentaries that I saw of Fleetwood Mac, Lindsey Buckingham has said that the song isn't, like, although the lyrics are saying looking out for love, looking out for love, looking out for big, big love, it's not looking like, oh, I'm searching for love. It's looking out like, oh shit, like whoa, trying to look out for the next heartbreak, look out for the next, like, love that comes around, like, you know, you're kind of like, you know, putting up your dukes up. And it's also, the song becomes very dark because it talks about isolation and being alone, and those are themes that, like, you know, that hit hard and hit home for me, and that's why I love this song. And it's basically the theme song of my character.
Big, big love, your kingdom. I was in the zone and I was like, oh shit. I wake up. Wait, did I miss it?
The next song is Goldust Man, and the reason why I chose this song was because it talks about partying, and it's, like I said, like, this whole overall concept is very inspired by Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet from '96. But we're gonna get into Baz Luhrmann's Great Gatsby because that's another Leonardo DiCaprio movie that I love.
I'm Gatsby.
That's something I really wanted to kind of like sneak in there for like the movie buffs like me. I chose this song because the characters needed to meet at a party. But I didn't want to make it like, oh, like Goldust Woman, blah, 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 because she's talking about herself. And I was like, okay, I need to talk about myself. And I was like, okay, I'll just change the gender from Goldust Woman to Goldust Man. When I finally landed on this song, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, when I was changing the pronouns, I was like, dude, this is so me. Like, when I was in high school, I really loved going to like parties and house parties with my best friend Kiana, whom you've seen in like other videos like The Dip and stuff. And Kiana and I, we love, like, you know, hosting parties, and that's something that I love doing. I have a party every year for Valentine's Day, which is the Lonely Hearts Club. So I'm like a really big party person. I love having everybody around, and that's when I was like, oh shit, like this is me. Also, when doing Goldust Man I wanted it to go with a very hip-hop vibe, like a very hip-hop rap vibe on it, because like when I something that I really wanted to do when also doing Goldust Man was the little brother in me kind of came out, where I was like, I want to create something that my brother would like, you know, like when I did Goldust Man and it was very going into the very hip-hop realm. I was like, oh, okay, if we're gonna do hip-hop on this, I really want to create something that my older brother would like, and because my older brother is someone who showed me hip-hop music, so that's something I really wanted to tackle when doing Goldust Man, and I hope I did. I was already in the studio with Dimitri, and I was like, dude, like, we're recording music, why don't you just hop on here? And he was like, dude, I'm down, like, let's do it. And he was really into this song, and like when we're in the studio, we're recording it, and he was like, it's like, dude, like, you know, you really gotta like hit home with this song, like, you know, you gotta have fun with it, because I self-deprecate and I'm so hard on myself. So when we were recording the song, he's like, dude, you're the Goldust Man, like, you know, you're like, bring it home, like, let's do it. And that kind of like, it was so much fun in the studio.
Rock on, rock on. Ancient king, ancient king. If you want to turn up, let's do it. I mean, let's do that shit.
Yeah, well, then I'm gonna get back with you once I figure out where.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Where her schedule is, cause she's bae.
That shit was lit. That shit was fucking. I was fucking like, we're running on nothing but adrenaline. Like, oh my god, dude, now do this, do that.
Something that one of my mentors from high school told me way back in like 2014 is that he saw me like walking around, like, you know, talking to this group of people and talking to another group of people type of thing. He told me this, and I've never heard this before until like 2014 when he called me. He said that, Charlie, you're a social butterfly. And I was like, whoa, like that's pretty freaking rad. So if you look at the Mimi Siku page on Instagram, you see that there's like butterflies like all around, and that's why I was like, when I was creating, like, you know, the lyric pages and the whole photo shoot, I really wanted to have like a butterfly on there. You Make Loving Fun. This was a song that I had such a hard time not only recording but also picking, because there are so many love ballads. So like it was such a hard time because it not only had to fall into the theme of it, but also it needed to resonate with me. So You Make Loving Fun was like, I really didn't want to pick this song because I was like, okay, I don't want to just be basic and pick songs from the Rumors album. Like, that's such a basic thing to do. But I ended up doing it because the lyrics really resonated with me. And to be honest, it's not my favorite in the album because I set such high expectations for myself. Like I said, like I self-deprecate, and I'm so like, I put so much pressure on myself that I set such high expectations for it that in the end I was like, okay, it's cool. Like I like it, but it's not one of my favorites. But I love that it does help move the story along, and the lyrics were very relatable, and it really reminds me of, like, you know, that time with the real life Juliet, but in my story it's Coneja. So this ballad and this like song is the Leo character, the Romeo character, singing to the Juliet character, the Coneja character, kind of like, you know, going back and forth. Ooh, Dreams. Okay, I love Dreams. Dreams was one of those songs that I really, really needed to do. That's one of the songs where I was like, we need to have the main melody in it. We need to, like, you know, we can't do this one wrong. And we did it, and I love it. Like, I love Dreams. Like, Dreams is such a classic. In the story, it's basically my character, Leo, basically saying, like, you know what, like, love isn't really working out this time. Like, you know, I see so many old things that have happened to me, and they're happening again. I love it, and it helps move the story along, and like it helps like the album, like it carries it and stuff. Like it's like, all right, cool. Like it's passing the listener off to another song, and it's like it moves the story along organically. I'm such an actor, like I'm such like a story person where it's like, oh, the story arc, whatever. And if you guys remember, if you guys are old school, like, you know, subscribers from my channel, and you guys have been rolling with me, the director of Scream, my old student film, like that I did back in like 2015, Jocelyn, if you guys remember Jocelyn, she loves this song. She Instagram storied herself and her boyfriend listening to it in the car, and that just warmed my heart.
No, it's when the rain washes you clean, you'll know.
Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing.